It's time to do business with me, Beverly Broohm. We begin with some news on IMF as the approval of a program for Ghana by the board of the International Monetary Fund is expected to come off at the earliest in January next year. That's according to Singapore-based market and research firm Red Intelligence. It, however, pointed out that in the worst-case scenario, the IMF board approval will happen latest in March 2023. There's more in the following report.
In its latest analysis on Ghana's debt restructuring, it said the IMF board approval of a program for Ghana is expected at the earliest in January next year, after which the debt sustainability analysis parameters will become public. The government is aiming to reduce its interest payments on external debt to not more than 18% of annual revenue by 2028. Red Intelligence also said the local debt restructuring should be reviewed positively by Eurobond holders for two main reasons. It addresses one of the key constraints in Ghana's debt sustainability analysis, that is debt service, and it shows that the government is serious about achieving external debt restructuring in the first half of next year. The exercise is expected to shrink Ghana's extremely high interest-to-revenue ratio. The government on December 5 launched a debt exchange program. Per the program, local bond holders have the option to exchange bonds totaling some $10.5 billion, equivalent to 4 new issues.
Meanwhile, the government continues to face tough opposition to its debt exchange program as organized labor has declared its intention to embark on an indefinite strike from December 27. According to the Trades Union Congress, the strike will be in force until the government exempts pension funds from the planned debt exchange program. But can the government implement the program without touching pension funds? Partner and head of financial advisory at Deloitte Ghana, Yao Latte, had this to say in an interview earlier today.
It depends on what options we have on the table. And I think our debt sustainability program or our debt exchange program is not only looking at the domestic market, but we're also looking at the external market. So to the extent that there can be another option beyond our domestic exchange program, then I think government can consider exempting pension funds. But I think we have to put this conversation in context. And put it in context is to understand why the debt exchange program. The debt exchange program, first and foremost, is supposed to help us reduce our debt burden. Running at a rate where about almost 60% of your revenue that you generate is used to service interest is something that's unsustainable. And so for us to bring our debt to sustainable levels, we should all be prepared to make some sacrifice, including what we're saying, workers and pension funds and all. So there has to be some commitment to support the government and the program. Secondly is the fact that there has been some strong positive response, including the investor community, to us reaching a staff level agreement. And government has said over and over again that having this exchange program is part of what we are looking at, reaching a complete IMF program, if I may call it. So if we're going to have challenges or there's going to be some setback in our debt exchange program, then obviously that will affect our negotiation with the IMF and reaching board level approval and then getting some disbursement to support our initiatives. I think that's the problem or the challenge that is possible.
Away from that, banks wrote off 2.92 billion cedis as bad debt in the first 10 months of this year. That's according to the Domestic Money Bank's income statement published by the Bank of Ghana. Here's more.
The bad debt, which was 66.8% more than the previous year, was as a result of loan losses, depreciation, among others. During the same period in 2021, 1.7 billion cedis was written off as bad loans. According to the Bank of Ghana, the banking industry's non-performing loan stock increased to 11.3 billion cedis in October 2022 from 8.4 billion cedis in October 2021. This was partly due to the revaluation of the foreign currency NPLs and deterioration in some domestic currency portfolios. But the banking industry's asset quality improved during the period under review. When adjusted for the fully provisioned loan loss, the industry's NPL ratio declined sharply from 6.2% to 3.9%. The decline in the NPL ratio was, however, due to higher growth in total loans relative to the NPL stock during the review period.
And that was a Business Desk report. Now, away from that, the Ghana Revenue Authority has indicated it will focus its lenses on the hospitality industry during this Yuletide season to clamp down on all event centers, pubs, restaurants and cinemas operating unlawfully. This came to light after its enforcement team embarked on an exercise to seize and invite owners of some 9 shops operating in the Achimota Mall over infraction to registration of company and invoicing. Here's more.
As part of its routine exercise in clamping down on companies operating unlawfully under the regulations of the GRA, the enforcement team of the Ghana Revenue Authority today visited the Achimota Mall, where it inspected documents of the various shops operating illegally. 9 shops were cited for various infractions. Joseph Anan is the head of enforcement unit at the GRA, Accra Central.
Today we took our search to Achimota Mall. We visited a number of shops and we are impressed that a number of them are issuing the VAT invoice. But we still got about 9 of them who are either not registered at all or they are registered but then they are doing selective issuance of the invoice. The places that we found to be non-compliant are as follows. We have Ara Outdoor Playground. They are not registered. In fact, there was no evidence that they are registered. So we assume that they are not registered. They don't have the VAT invoice. They don't have the VAT certificate. So we've assumed that they are not registered. We spoke to some responsible, employees of the company, and they themselves didn't give us any indication that they are registered.
He, however, stated that the enforcement team will this Christmas season be focusing its lenses on the hospitality industry to weed out recalcitrant operators.
Our journey towards end of year is on. Like we said, the focus is now on the hospitality industry. Tomorrow, we'll do some night exercise. Our officers are already on the field and they are visiting all the event centers. In fact, we've started and we hope to visit as much as we can before the year ends. The event centers, the pubs, the restaurants, the hotels. So please, don't wait for us to come. Because I believe it's quite embarrassing when we come with the cameras and you are being shown to the entire world. So don't allow us to come to you. So please do the right thing so that when we come, the cameras will not capture you.
He, however, disclosed that the move is geared towards meeting the revenue target for the year.
Compliance tools that is being used, like the invoice invigilation and all the other compliance tools that the GR is using, we are seeing some good, improvement in VAT and other tax types. Yes.
Now, let's head to the Ashanti region now, as the Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, has set up a series of programs aimed at equipping herbal medicine producers on good manufacturing practices and best international standards. The exercise is also to position the producers to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area after. Ashanti Regional Director of FDA, John Layo Daitete, says the routine engagement is to ensure herbal medicine producers comply with regulatory requirements and to stay competitive.
The herbal medicine practitioners are engaging interest groups on best manufacturing practices to enable them take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. The Food and Drugs Authority, as a major stakeholder, is leading a task to ensure good manufacturing practices and adherence to international standards. Ashanti Regional Boss John Laye Odaitete says the producers are provided the appropriate knowledge and skills for the production of high quality, safe and efficacious herbal medicines with export potentials.
What ensures that the products that comes out from a particular facility complies consistently with the set or predetermined standards the safety level and efficacy level is good manufacturing practices. Now, because technology changes, instruments used in those factories change, we have a C attached to it. So it now becomes current codes of good manufacturing practices, which means that periodically we need to update their knowledge base and make them acquire the necessary skills required to remain relevant in the kind of business they do.
Head of Herbal Medicine Department at the KNUST, Professor Isaac Kingsley Amponsa says there are synergies for the herbal manufacturers to standardize dosages of the product and to optimize production processes.
We want to help them standardize their products. So they standardize the dosages so that if they say that they are giving, this much containing 100 milligram, they are giving that. That is much comparable to the orthodox medicine. So we will help them to standardize their product. We will help them to optimize the processes they use in producing this product. And so we will come up with short courses and programs that will help them in this regard. We will visit them at their facilities and then do an audit to see some of the weaknesses they have so that we can incorporate them in the training program.
President of the Herbal Manufacturers Association, Solomon Apia-Kubi, says the Africa Continental Free Trade Area offers members the opportunity to expand to bigger markets, stay in business and reduce unemployment. He says members have the capacity to go to Africa with the support from FDA and KNUST Department of Herbal Medicine.
We have reached a stage where we have brought science and research into the manufacturing processes, guided by the FDA. And so now we've gotten to a place where we can let the world and even Africa and the rest of the world know that we've gotten a stage that herbal medicine is potent. The trust that they have in allopathic medicine, orthodox medicine, they should have the same confidence in herbal medicine because the same guidelines that they use is what we also use in our manufacturing endeavors. We believe that Ghana stands a chance of bringing a lot of foreign inflows through this channel.
Now, the Volta River Authority, VRA, says aquatic weeds pose a big threat to its 160 megawatts hydroelectric power plant at Akuse, aside from the negative impact on economic activities of host communities. Director of Environment and Sustainable Development at VRA, Benjamin Saki, disclosed this in an interview when Ghana Maritime Authority handed over 3 trash schema vessels to the power producer at Kpong in the eastern region to tackle aquatic weeds. Our Tema correspondent Kwame Yanka has the rest of the story.
Handing over of the schemes follows a memorandum of understanding between Volta River Authority and Ghana Maritime Authority. For VRA, the schemes are important on so many levels in managing the weeds. On one hand, it comes as a perfect replacement for earlier equipment from the Environmental Protection Agency EPA in 2012, where the power producer received 2 barges and 2 weed harvesters, which are to be decommissioned soon, having reached their useful lives. On the other hand, the new equipment will help avert the likelihood of losing lives in an attempt to manage the weeds using manpower. Director of Environment and Sustainable Development at VRA, Benjamin Saki, touches on how aquatic weeds threaten generation of power.
The shutting down the turbines is because the weeds are floating towards the turbines, and there's a need. So I think you went to the intake prior to coming here. You could see the log boom that had been put there. Yeah, so the strategy is that sometimes it happens in the night, most of the time after rainstorms. So by the time you wake up in the morning, you have the weeds coming towards the turbines, and the boobs are there basically to block them and give us enough time for us to do what? To clear it. But if they become very heavy, sometimes they can even slip under the boom and head towards. At that time, you may have to stop the turbines, the generation, so that the draft is not so strong and the people can work in front of it. So it's a safety issue, even to make sure that the turbines are shut down for work to be done.
The power producer loses significant amount of money for not generating power due to shutdowns. Recent assessment done reveals VRA lost 4 million Ghana cedis for shutdowns between 1999 and 2021. Meanwhile, Deputy Director, Service and Inspection and head of Tema branch of Ghana Maritime Authority, Captain William Thompson, says the skimmers will help in protecting the dam.
So they had to cut them physically and use excavators. But you see the fresh ones in the demonstration that we had, the skimmer easily cut them and then brought them back, and we came to dispose of them here. So going forward, having removed the very thick and old ones, the new ones that are coming will be very easy for the skimmer to work on. You see, we acquired 3 skimmers. We put one down south of the dam. So the water flows from the dam. We clear up here, it flows from the dam to the lower side. It needs to flow freely. So that's why one is there to clear that. Over the time, when this is done, I believe VRA will decide and then move it to other places where there are concerns. But right now, this is the most important place for the use of this because of the safety of the dam.
Although VRA has options including chemical, biological, mechanical and manual means of managing the weeds, it has ruled out chemical control due to its possible negative impact on communities along the water body.
Now, a new aesthetics company which specializes in luxury spa services called New You Med Spa has begun business in Accra. Co-founder of the Med Spa, Delasio Wusu, said the company employ the service of specialized doctors and nurses who are highly equipped with many years of experience and offers safe, effective and non-surgical treatments to drive in customers and clients to grow the business. Here's more.
New You Med Spa is a company that provides clients with laser treatment, IV therapy, facials and microblading. They are committed to providing customers with treatments and procedures that are safe and effective in a beautiful and relaxing atmosphere, and clients are assured of good experience. Speaking at the launch of the Med Spa, co-founder of New You Med Spa, Delasio Wusu, stated that the company is committed to ensuring the general well-being of clients, hence their decision to engage the services of highly equipped doctors to provide the best services.
We do have our doctors that are highly equipped and have so many years of experience in this field. We're set apart because we do a lot of education. We do educate our clients on the services that we offer. Most people have never had an aesthetic services before, so when they come to us, we make them very comfortable and also try to explain to them what we're doing, and we also urge to see that smile on our patient faces. So it is also, we love doing aesthetics because it's a passion and then also an art, which is very beautiful.
Delasio Wusu further that clients are assured of services that will make them feel better and experience a healthier body.
That's all for business. We have more business on myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Beverly Broohm and I leave you with news making headlines on the international front.